our lives are filled with choices. What to wear, what to eat, what to say, what to buy, who to marry, what career to follow, and on we can go. Some choices are trivial. What do you want on your burger? Other choices are essential and life-changing. Should we move to Australia? The most critical choice you will make is about Jesus and whether you follow him or not. Pastor John MacArthur says, this is the ultimate choice that determines our eternal destiny. Dr. Wayne Grudem teaches the same thing. My professor at Trinity, when I was there, Grudem says again and again, Scripture affirms that we really do cause things to happen, cause events to happen. We make willing, responsible choices, choices that have real and eternal results, and for which we are held accountable. Grudem says this in response to some who define God's sovereignty by minimizing human freedom. Exactly how God combines his providence with our choices is not explained in Scripture. But Grudem says you cannot deny one or the other. In fact, Grudem's recent 1,300-page book entitled Christian Ethics is all about the choices that we face every day in obeying God. When you think about it, the whole Bible is full of choices. This is a great book. You want to learn about a Christian perspective on gun control? What does the Bible say about that? About global warming? About marijuana use? About suicide? So many of these things that are in the news today. Read Wayne Grudem's book, Christian Ethics. It will help you think through these issues from a Christian biblical perspective. God says, Deuteronomy 30, I set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Now choose life by loving the Lord your God, by obeying his voice, and by holding fast to him. Now, critics have countered that it isn't always true, that our consequences are not always dependent on our choices. And that is true. The book of Job is in the Bible also. And there are times when the godly suffer and the wicked prosper. We all see that. Many of these scholars point out that the final chapter has not been written yet for any of us. The Bible assures us that God will set everything right at the final judgment. Rewards and punishment will be allotted with justice. Everything hidden is going to be brought out into the open. And no one will be able to say, not fair. Theologians call this the doctrine of divine retribution. Obedience to God brings reward. Disobedience brings punishment. It's not only taught clearly in the Old Testament, places like Psalm 1 and Joshua 1, but also in the New Testament. For Jesus said, with the measure you use, it will be measured unto you. Galatians 6:7 lays this out most clearly. It says, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. The one who sows to please his sinful nature, from that nature will reap destruction. The one who sows to please the Spirit will reap eternal life. Friends, this is what the books of 1st and 2nd Chronicles is all about. The lives of the kings of Israel and Judah. They're laid bare before us. The good, the bad, and the ugly. They're all there. In this series of messages, we're going to see how their destiny, it pivots on the choices they made. We start today with the tragic life of Israel's first king. King Saul. If there's one word to define his life, it's the word rebellion. The Bible teaches that Saul got off to a great start. But Saul squandered the fame and favor he gained through his early successes by relying on himself instead of God. In so doing, he unknowingly set in motion a downward spiral of rebellion. I'm going to focus on 4 levels in the descent into darkness. I believe he could have bailed out at any time. As long as we have breath, there's hope. But rebellion is like quicksand. It sucks you in, so it is harder and harder and harder to escape. The first level in Saul's downward spiral is disobedience. 1 Chronicles 10:13 summarizes his life by saying, Saul died because he was unfaithful to the Lord. He did not keep the word of the Lord. The book of 1 Samuel gives us all of the details of Saul's life. Chapter 10, Saul is anointed king by the prophet Samuel. Chapter 11, he rescues the city of Jabesh. It's a stunning victory over the Ammonites. Saul is revered across the land. But then in chapter 13, Saul's life takes an abrupt turn. His son Jonathan leads the Israelites into battle, defeats the Philistines, but get this, Saul takes credit for it. And then Saul wants to impress his army with what a godly man he is, so he offers up a sacrifice to God, something only Samuel the prophet was supposed to do. And then he lies to Samuel, and he blames his own men for his mistakes. Over and over again, Saul makes foolish decisions. He blames his failures on others. He assumes credit for things others did, and he repeatedly lies to cover his tracks. Saul's primary problem isn't that he sinned. We all sin. Saul's problem is that he didn't humble himself. Instead, he doubled down by minimizing, justifying, and rationalizing his sin. Do you know anybody like that? You see, that is the heart of a rebel. Franklin Graham knows all about this because he was a rebel in his early years. Rebel with a Cause tells his story. At first, it was just a cat and mouse game he played with his mom. He'd lock himself in his room, refuse to go to school. His mom would slip a firecracker under the door. And when he mouthed off to her in the car, she would open the trunk. Franklin, get in there. They'd go to McDonald's. She'd open up the trunk. What do you want, Franklin? Happy Meal? Your Happy Meal is not going to be too happy today. Close the trunk. In his teen years, it wasn't so funny anymore. If his dad was a holy man, Franklin was determined to be the opposite. Smoked, drank, got into fights, tried pot. When they sent him to an elite boarding school, he dropped out. Another school, Laterno College in Texas, expelled him for breaking curfew by staying out all night with a young lady. Finally, at age 22, his dad leveled with him while on a trip to Switzerland. He said, Franklin, there's a battle for your soul. You're going to have to make a choice. This is the choice every rebel has to make. Many are simply not ready to admit that they've made a mess of their lives and that they've totally screwed up. This is something Franklin was willing to admit, and King Saul was not. Most people resist this. even when the mess is blatantly obvious to everyone around them. Several years ago, I was talking with an older pastor who was involved in a ministry to help restore other pastors who had fallen into immorality. And I asked him a question. I said, how many of these men come totally clean? How many of them own up completely to what they've done? And he replied to me, about 30%. And I about fell out of my chair. Only 30%? When the wreckage of their sin is all around them, they've hurt their wife, their kids, their extended family, their church, not to mention the cause of Christ and our witness to a lost world. And yet, folks, how about us? How hard is it for you to come totally clean when you blow it? How hard is it to totally own up to what you've done? Some of us have embraced beliefs that are completely contrary to the Word of God. And you know what? It's not easy to say, I was wrong. It sure isn't for me, I know that. Some of us have developed habits that are really destructive. We live churning with anger or greed, lust, envy, bitterness, dishonesty. And you know what? It's never going to change until you come clean. This is something Franklin Graham did. King Saul would not do it. We know that because Samuel gives him another chance in chapter 15 of 1 Samuel. Very similar to what happened in chapter 13. And you know what? King Saul falls into the same trap again. Saul blatantly disobeys. He's supposed to destroy all of the spoils of war, including the cattle and sheep, but he doesn't do it. And then he has the gall to tell Samuel, I have followed the Lord's instructions. And Samuel says, what then is the bleating of the sheep that I hear? What is this lowing of the cattle that I hear? You know what Saul said to that? First words out of his mouth were, the soldiers brought them. Once again, he blames his men for his own shortcomings. And then when Samuel tries to reason with him, he starts to argue with Samuel. And Samuel says rebellion is like the sin of witchcraft. Arrogance is like the evil of idolatry. And Samuel lowers the boom on him. He says to Saul, your disobedience will cost you your kingdom. Only then does Saul finally say, I have sinned. But you know what his next words are? He said, but please honor me before the elders and before Israel. What a narcissist. Saul is more concerned with his reputation than with obedience. He wants to look good, he doesn't want to be good. And even here, folks, even at this point, there's still hope for Saul. You see, his son Jonathan, the crown prince, is a rising star in the kingdom. Jonathan and David are already starting to talk about a co-regency with David as the head, Jonathan as his right-hand man. There is still a lot to salvage, but sadly, Saul continues to spiral downward. The next level down is disregard. We have disobedience up here, then there's disregard. The Bible gives 3 reasons for the fall of Saul. The first reason is disobedience. He didn't keep the word of the Lord. The second reason is disregard. Verse 14 says, he did not inquire of the Lord. This is another distinction between Saul and David. Both of them sinned greatly, but David, in his distress, he turned to the Lord. The Psalms are ample evidence of this. Over and over again, David pours out his heart to the Lord. He says in Psalm 51:17, a broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise. When Saul was in distress, he didn't turn upward, he turned inward. When David was troubled, he grabbed his harp and he started to sing worship songs. When Saul was troubled, he grabbed his spear and plotted revenge. 1 Chronicles 13:3, there's a verse that gives a very telling contrast between David and Saul. After David became king, he said this, "Let us bring the ark of our God back to us, for we did not inquire of it during the reign of Saul." 40-year reign. Hard to believe, isn't it? 40 years didn't inquire of the Lord. You know why? Saul didn't want to hear what God had to say, but David did. Psalm 42:1 says, David speaking, "As the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you, O God." This was true of David, but it wasn't true of Saul. Think with me for a moment. Have you had seasons in your life when you have disregarded God? Maybe church attendance becomes more and more sporadic. You can't remember the last time you were in a Bible study. More and more, your friendship circle is composed of unbelievers instead of believers. Maybe you've had a Christian friend or family member who tried to talk to you and you just blew them off. Your Bible is gathering dust on a shelf somewhere, can't even remember where, and prayer just gradually disappears. You know what happens when we first start to disregard God? Absolutely nothing. See, that's the problem. Lightning doesn't strike. The sky doesn't fall. Many a college student and young adult has discovered this. To their great surprise, when they stop going to church, nothing particularly bad seems to happen. But here's what happened to Saul. 1 year of neglecting God led to 2 years, and 2 years to 3 years, and pretty soon a decade had gone by. Saul is still on his royal throne, but slowly the flickering light of God's presence departed from Saul. And all that was left was a hollow, insecure, highly paranoid man. Spent 8 years chasing David in the wilderness. The great preacher Charles Spurgeon said, "I know of no more unhappy character than Saul when God had departed from him. But somehow there was not anguish in the soul of Saul that would have been there if he had really known the Lord. I do not think that he ever really did in his inmost soul know the Lord. And after Samuel anointed him, he became another man. He never became a new man." Another great preacher, Campbell Morgan, says this, "Saul was a warrior and nothing more. He was never a shepherd. He held a spear, not a shepherd's staff." Yet another preacher, Warren Wiersbe, compares Saul to the shallow heart in the parable of the sower. His soil had no depth. His tears were temporary, and there was no lasting fruit that ever came from his life. How about you? If you were arrested for being a Christian, would there be enough evidence to convict you? If they did a profile of you, and they looked at your phone records, and they looked at your computer records, and they looked at your financial records, and they looked at your calendar, and they looked at your time usage, and they interviewed your friends and family members and neighbors and coworkers, would an objective person conclude that you are decisively committed to Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Or would they see a wishy-washy, half-hearted, off and on, so-so person who may have gotten their body to church once in a while, but the true state of their heart, who knows? The evidence is inconclusive. Would that describe you? That's how the Bible portrays King Saul, which is why, even to the present day, Bible students still ask, was Saul a true believer or not? I had a professor actually ask that question to his class, a class that I was in when I was at seminary. And you know what the vote was? 50-50, right down the middle. I've gone back and forth on this myself. One of the factors that weighs heavy for me is what happens at the end of Saul's reign. You see, Saul descends one more level in the downward spiral. You have disobedience, you have disregard, and the third level down is disloyalty. 1 Chronicles 10:13 sums it up like this: he even consulted a medium for guidance. This always happens to those who disregard the Lord. Over time, sooner or later, disregard turns into blatant disloyalty. 1 Samuel 28:5, it tells us exactly what happened. It says, when Saul saw the Philistine army, he was afraid. Terror filled his heart. He inquired of the Lord, but the Lord did not answer him by dreams or Urim or prophets. So Saul said to his attendants, find me a woman who is a medium, so I may go and inquire of her. And they said, there is one in Endor. So Saul disguised himself, putting on other clothes, and at night he and two men went to visit this woman. Folks, this is one of the saddest chapters in all the Bible. Saul commits high treason against the king of the universe. All his life, Saul had disregarded the Lord, and now, folks, the Lord disregards him. Saul is utterly abandoned by God. And folks, this happened the night before he died. You see, this underscores the precarious nature of so-called deathbed conversions. Now, I have no doubt that they happen. They take place. The thief on the cross was certainly saved right at the end of his life. I think it especially happens when there are massive amounts of prayer by friends and family members. But there is such a danger in this. A danger for the one who rebels against God his entire life, and then crunch time comes and he wants mercy. If you look at the Bible, sometimes God grants mercy and sometimes he doesn't. This is one of those times when he doesn't. Here's how Proverbs 1:28 puts it. Then they will call on me, but I will not answer, because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. You say, well, that's scary. I'd say, you aren't kidding, it's scary. It's so scary I wouldn't dare to say it if it wasn't in black and white up there. There is great danger in rebelling against God your whole life and then expecting God to bail you out at the last minute. Maybe he will, and maybe he won't. He didn't with Judas. It's clear that Judas realized at the end, he realized, I bet on the wrong horse. He realizes that because he says to the chief priests in Matthew 27:4, he says, I have sinned. I have betrayed innocent blood. Judas had remorse, but he didn't make it to heaven. We know that because Jesus calls him a devil. John 6:70. And Jesus also said, Mark 14:21, it would be better if that man had never been born. He wouldn't have said that. Judas didn't end up in hell. I think King Saul showed his true colors when he consulted a witch. He asks her to conjure up the spirit of Samuel. And you know what, folks? Shock of all shocks, Samuel shows up. Now, I agree with John MacArthur that it really is Samuel, because it's what the scripture says. The witch is shocked herself. She knew she had no power to do this, but God caused the spirit of Samuel to appear to Saul, and Samuel delivered a message that scared the living daylights out of Saul. Samuel ends his message with these solemn words. He said, the Lord will hand over both Israel and you to the Philistines, and tomorrow you and your sons will be with me. How do you think Saul slept that night? You know, some have suggested, just by those very words, that this is proof positive that Saul made it to heaven, since it says he will be joining Samuel. And it is possible. Even John MacArthur acknowledges this. But God makes the final determination. You see, did Saul end up in paradise, the abode of the saved, or did he end up in Sheol, the abode of the dead? Only the Lord knows. But let there be no doubt of this fact. His life was an absolute disaster. And that is the fourth level in his downward spiral. Disaster. 1 Chronicles 10 summarizes the tragic end to Saul's tragic life. Verse 4 says, so Saul took his own sword and fell on it. Saul and his 3 sons died, and all of his house died together. Verse 8 says, the next day when the Philistines came to strip the dead, they found Saul and his sons fallen on Mount Gilboa, and they stripped them and took his head and his armor, and they put his armor in the temple of their gods, and they hung up his head in the temple of Dagon. Folks, that's a rough way to go. I find it interesting that there are 2 Sauls mentioned in the Bible. King Saul in the Old Testament, he started out as a smashing success. He had an impressive physique, standing head and shoulders over the people. Tall, dark, handsome. But he ends his life committing suicide and being humiliated by his enemies. But there's another Saul in the Bible. He appears in the New Testament. And this is Saul of Tarsus. This Saul starts out as a fierce enemy of God's people. He's arresting them. He is abusing them. He calls himself the worst of sinners. He had innocent blood on his hands until he met Jesus on the road to Damascus. And Jesus washed his sins away. This Saul, who is renamed Paul, the Bible says he's a little man with an unimpressive physique, according to 2 Corinthians 10:10. But he ends up being a giant in God's eyes. He takes the gospel to the far corners of the Roman Empire. He too dies at the hands of his enemies, but he's a martyr for the faith. King Saul, the monster, Saul of Tarsus, the martyr. Which would you most like to be like? I close with this. Have you ever thought about what you would like said at your funeral? Today, it's pretty common to have a sharing time. We did this at Greg Rassett's funeral just a few days ago. And I walk around to people that are sitting all over. I bring the microphone over to them, and they share a few memories, some humorous, some just precious memories that they had times together, some spiritual. What would you like people to say about you? In Israel today, the death of King Saul is remembered whenever the visitors' buses visit the ancient ruins at Bethshan. We've done this several times. 1 Samuel 31:10 says of King Saul, the Philistines fastened his body to the wall of Bethshan. Every tourist that stops there hears about how Saul committed suicide by falling on his sword and how the Philistines mounted his body and the bodies of all of his sons to the walls of the city. Now, hopefully, you've already had lunch that day, because it isn't a pleasant thing to hear. It is, however, a powerful reminder of the end of the road for all rebels. If you rebel against God, even though somehow you may escape consequences on this earth, you're not going to dodge the final judgment. Now, meanwhile, 1,400 miles from Bethshan, over in the city of Rome, Italy, you can also visit the site, as we did a few months ago, the site that marks the end of the road for the Apostle Paul, Saul of Tarsus. Historians are in agreement that Paul spent his last days in Mamertine prison. And this, too, is an unpleasant sight, but the takeaway for the tourists, completely different. Outside of the prison walls, you can find tour groups gathered around. They're pausing to read the last words of the Apostle Paul. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I've kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, not only to me, but to all who have longed for his appearing. Those words remind us of the end of the road for those who honor God. Will that group include you? Can you say with the Apostle Paul, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I've kept the faith. Let's pray. As our heads are bowed, it's too bad our first king has to be a tragic character. Next week we're going to look at the other side of the coin, King David, a man after God's own heart. But I think it's providential that the first king ended up being a rebel. The Lord wants us to ponder this today. Why did this king that got off to a fabulous start end up in such a tragic place? I think the Lord wants you and I to review our own lives. And the Lord is speaking to us today. And he's saying to us, keep the faith. If you happen to be among that group that perhaps has just been a little dilly-dallying around and I show up for church whenever it feels convenient, and I read the Bible, once in a great while, dust it off and get it out, and do a little praying, when I've got something important before me, foxhole prayers. But you have to admit, that's most of what my Christianity looks like today. I think the Lord is speaking to your heart today. And He's calling you. And He's saying, come to me. Come to me. Get right with me. Get right. Follow hard after me. Don't there should be no doubt in anybody's mind that knows you well that you are an all-out follower of Christ. And if that is not true, you just come to the Lord today and you just say, Lord, I want to be like Saul of Tarsus. I don't want to be like King Saul. I don't want to be wondering in those last moments whether I made it or not, because his life was so pathetic. I don't want to be that guy. You can just speak to the Lord about that right now. Father, we just pray for each of us here today. Lord, we all struggle. We're all sinners. We know that, Lord. We want to be like David when we sin. We want to have that broken and contrite spirit. We don't want to double down and minimize, rationalize, justify like Saul did. Help us with this, God. Help us with this. Lord, we thank you for this time of communion. If you have never made a commitment to Christ, you can come to Jesus right now, ask him to forgive you your sins, come into your life, so that you can partake of communion with us today. This is God's table. It's open to believers only, but it's open to all believers, regardless of what faith tradition you come from. If you are following Jesus with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, welcome to this table today. Father, we thank you for the cup. Represents your shed blood. Thank you, Lord, for the bread that represents your body. It was broken for us. Thank you. We enter into this time with great joy. In Jesus' name, amen. Regardless